Recently, we have seen in the news the passing away of people like Chinua Achebe. We saw the passing away of Margaret Thatcher, and it's been in the news that Nelson Mandela has been going through, in and out of hospital, basically. And so we see it looked like the passing of a generation, and the baton being handed over to a new generation. But one of my biggest challenges is, where are the next generation leaders? Where are the leaders that will inspire whole continents? Leaders that will inspire and define global events. Where are they? And this gives me a lot of concern, because when you look at a lot of these people, you find out that they did not start out wanting to make a name for themselves. Let's look at Rosa Parks. When Rosa Parks refused to stand up in that bus for a white man in 1955, she was not doing it because she wanted to make a name for herself and all that. And she could never have known that it was going to be the trigger in a series of events that will give birth to a very vibrant civil rights movement, create a platform for a great leader like Martin Luther King. She could never have imagined it. When Mandela was rebelling against the evils and injustice of that was going on then in his country, he could never have imagined that as a result of what he was doing, he was going to become the most influential non-spiritual leader in the world. And we have all sorts of stories like that. Even in the Bible, when the Apostle Paul was writing the epistles, he could never have imagined he was writing something that would become the Bible. The New Testament. We have 3/4 of the New Testament. He was simply following up his converts. And so you find that one common thread that runs through this caliber of leaders is that they're not doing what they're doing for themselves. Their vision is bigger than themselves. And what I'd like to share, drop with you is this: if your vision does not go beyond looking after yourself, meeting your needs, then you are too small to be significant. So I want to challenge you as we go into this week and wrap up this week, that let's begin to think outside of ourselves. Let's begin to think of, what is that thing that I can do that will make a difference in the lives of people? And ultimately, it's like I've always said, you don't wash a shirt because you want it to get wet. You wash it because you want it to be clean, but in the process, it gets wet. As we begin to live our lives from that perspective, that I'm not just passing through, I want to make a difference. Good question you can ask yourself is this, and this is one thing I have to deal with. If your absence doesn't make a difference, then your presence wasn't necessary. And so, who is feeling your presence today? Are you just present without making your presence felt? Who is feeling your presence? That's a big question you need to ask yourself, and then go think it through. Let me wrap up by sharing another story I saw. The Bible talks about this rich man and a man called Lazarus. And Lazarus was a poor man who stayed at the gate of the rich man. And eventually, he was there hoping he would get something from the rich man. He was a beggar. Eventually, Lazarus died. And not long after, the rich man died. And when I looked at that, I said, my goodness, the purpose of that rich man, among other things, was to take care of Lazarus. And once Lazarus was no more there was no need for the rich man to be there. Every single one of us has a Lazarus. No matter how bad you think things may be for you today, there's somebody who is looking at you and envies you. So let's go out. Let's make that difference in the life of somebody, in the lives of some people, and ultimately you will find yourself on the road to leadership, because leadership is not about giving orders. Leadership is is about making impact. Leadership is about changing the lives of people. Have a great week.